All right, so folks, we are back on Wade's World, following up on the Hasan shocking his dog story, because it seems to be the story that never ends. You know what I've noticed about the internet is everything is here today, gone tomorrow. Unless you're committing a crime that is going to get you thrown in jail, unless you're doing something that's so reprehensible that no one can forget it, it's burned into their memories, that you can just never come back from it, or unless you have a community full of sycophants that will defend you at every turn no matter how bad things get, people just continue to do whatever it is they did and forget about the story of yesterday, yestermonth, yesteryear, and on to the next thing. I'm not willing to do that for what we're seeing online right now, because it's so odd to watch an entire sector of the internet act as though they're blind, all because they are fans of an individual or because they politically align with an individual, and he who shall not be named, aka Mr. Pinocchio Piker, if you were to criticize the king of Twitch, you will be labeled as their enemy, his enemy, the only thing people can think of when they express themselves in daily life these days. Whatever political leaning you ascribe to must be the reason that you call this individual out. That must be the reason that you're a hateful bigot, that you're a right-wing grifter, that you're a Nazi, the things that you hear on a daily basis. And that I've heard as of the last couple days about myself, by the way. But there's new footage of the Hasan shocking dog syndrome saga, and it came out this morning as I was waking up, so we're going to hit an update on this story. Hasan and his orbiters' explanations of what's going on keep getting mixed up, and not many people are giving a straight answer, and the ones that do are immediately contradicted. Why is that? Well, let's talk about it. The breakdown, let's go. We have new footage of Hasan's orbiters. I like to call them the orbiters, the people that are, I would say, latched or leashed, but probably not appropriate to say in this setting. The people that are attached to Hasan's hip, because I think as he goes, probably so does their clout and popularity and revenue. Here is one of his friends. Her name is QT Cinderella. That's a grown woman with that name on Twitch. Okay, let's hear this.
So, what I gotta say, I'm in his house. I looked at the collar. The collar is taped off where I think there would be prongs.
Yeah.
There's no zap. There's only a vibrate function.
Yeah.
So I would agree to that. If
I don't think this QT Cinderella girl understands what she just did. She thinks she's defending the socialist savior, Mr. Hasan Piker. In reality, she's confirming what we all saw. After Hasan himself said it wasn't a collar capable of shocking, it's a funny way to manipulate his audience by using very select, queued up words to kind of skirt around what the reality of the situation is, which is that it is a shock collar that he removed the prongs from purposely and taped over with black electrical tape. That is my opinion. That is what I see when I look at that clip. And instead of confirming that it is a vibration-only collar, she says it only has a vibrate function. She went over there after the initial collar gate clip to check the collar. She didn't go over there the day it happened. She didn't go over there before that to check the collar. She checked it after Hasan showed it on his stream, which is convenient because by the time he showed it on his stream the next day, it had electrical tape over it and had the prongs covered. Of course, it had no capability of shocking then because Hasan modified it to not be able to. Now, if you're telling me that the vibrate function made his dog yelp in pain, you're full of shit. And this response from her on live stream shows me that the story continually changing means none of it was true and they're making it up as they go along. And I'm not saying she's making up what she saw. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying this has been carefully, well, not really carefully, this has been pretty terribly crafted by the ringleader himself, Pencil Neck Piker, who has clearly tried to make it look as though he has always had the collar with the prongs removed. But my question would be then, if you bought a shock collar for vibration purposes only, why wouldn't you buy the vibrating collar only? There is a specific vibration-only collar from that same company. Why wouldn't you just buy that one? If that's all you intended to use that collar for, if that's all you'd ever use that collar for, why wouldn't you just buy that one? You guys remember we put in the video from Lacey, the other streamer in this realm of LA goofballs, that said he was asked by Hasan's dog trainer if he wanted the same collar Hasan used, an e-collar. Lacey said no. Fair play to him. He said, that's not, I don't need a shock collar to train my dog. We saw the remote on Hasan's desk that was a shock collar, an ET300 shock collar. E-collar, excuse me, with the capability of shocking. Why would you even buy that collar if you only used it for vibration? There's a specific vibration collar. Why not just use that one? QT Cinderella, without meaning to probably, confirms that Hasan for sure did take this collar off his dog, take the prongs out, and cover it with tape so he could show it to make the collar he showed the chat and the stream look like a collar that didn't have any prongs at all. Because here's the other part of the equation that I think is hilarious. If you knew the difference between vibrate and shock, why would you take the prongs out? If you never used the actual shock function, why would you take the prongs out at all? Why wouldn't you just leave the prongs in and still use the vibration setting? What would be the need for removing the prongs? In case your finger slipped, sure. But then again, I go back to my first point, why even buy that collar at all? To even make the mistake, to even have the issue. Because what you're doing is you're modifying the shock collar to be the collar that they already make in vibration only form. Doesn't make sense when you think about it, right? Why would you buy something that you have to modify to make into something they already sell? So then we continue. There's another person, someone called Vanilla Mace, a very sane and rational name for someone to pick for their Twitch chat. She runs in as one of the Save Hasan Brigade to talk about her experience with Hasan and his dog.
Yes, I saw the Hasan drama. It makes me want to go like this.
That is one of the most horrific and terrifying things I've ever seen in my life. Like, that is what nightmares are made of. I have no words. I have even less words than she has for that visceral reaction of how dare someone criticize my hero Hasan.
People that want Hasan fucking dead were like, he used a shock collar and he's abusing his fucking dog.
People that want Hasan dead? Do you guys see the jump in reality and logic? Like, we jump from this plane of Earth, the real Earth that we live on, in reality, where I can give two shits about Hasan and what he does on a daily basis, let alone worry about his politics or want him viscerally attacked or having someone be violent to him. This is just me. And I assume, and maybe I'm wrong here, that most people don't go around their daily lives, regardless if they agree or disagree with someone, at least the people that I know, they don't go around wishing death on them. They don't go around hoping they're dead. Again, I talk about the radical nature of the internet. This is what's happening to people. She probably believes that. She probably believes that shit. And she has squinted so hard at her fucking camera and her chat right there to weed out anyone that didn't agree that her eyebrows fell off. So, I mean, this is the reality of online discourse. That people legitimately believe that their enemies, people that are critical of their friends or them, want them dead. Are we taking fucking crazy pills? This is the reality of the world now? People need to wake the fuck up.
Okay, there's a video of Kaya, Hasan's dog. She's sitting in her dog bed. Hasan's like ranting about something, and then Kaya gets up and he's like, Kaya, like lay down, like lay back down. And then Kaya yelps, like whatever, Kaya lays back down. The lengths that people are...
Well, that's not exactly what happened. The dog got up, touched the floor with one paw. Hasan melodramatically rolls his eyes, can't handle the fact that his dog is actually moved, looks to his left, reaches his arm toward what we now know is clearly a shock collar remote on his desktop, hits the button, the dog screams in pain, and lays back down. You see how when you leave out details, it does sound a little bit less dramatic than it actually was? Yeah. He shocked the dog to get it to lay back down. The dog didn't get up, touch the floor, and then yelp in pain at the physical nature of the hardwood. It's an LA mansion, for Christ's sake. How bad can the floors be? Something made it yelp. Something made it jerk its legs straight back into its stomach and then turn around and immediately do what it's been taught to do, which is lay back down and don't move like a statue, like a fucking gargoyle in the night. So yeah, a little bit of context left out there.
They're like editing his picture and turning up the fucking contrast where he showed the collar to be like, no, look, he put tape over it to fucking... As somebody...
Which he did. That was true. People did that because they suspected he was lying about it being a vibration-only collar, and they were correct. So yeah, sometimes it takes an internet sleuth to prove people that are known liars wrong.
Who's met fucking Kaya, because all these people on the internet, I'm like, I've fucking met that damn dog. That dog is like the sweetest fucking dog ever, and she's like the happiest girl in the fucking world. That dog is living lavish. Like, y'all wish you lived Kaya's life. Like, it's that dog is spoiled like a fucking motherfucker.
The rest of us that are normal people don't wish we lived the life of Hasan's dog. I think that these girls that are clearly infatuated with him would like for him to place a collar around their neck and shock him a couple of times because they're that devoid of any human contact or any sort of actual love and relationships that they have to go and resort to this kind of thing. I don't know. That's what it seems like. Anytime I've seen this take on the internet, like, oh, you guys wish you lived like that dog. Do we or do you? That seems like a self-report for Betty Boop, Mrs. Vanilla.
And then also to people who are like, well, he's on stream so long every day, and then the dog just has to lay there all day. I'm like, and what about y'all's dogs when y'all are at work? Like, he gets off the stream, I'm sure that he goes and does shit with the dog.
Most dogs, when people go to work, are crate trained when they're puppies so that they understand the difference between outside and inside. I talked about this in my last video. Most dogs are trained progressively as they grow up to have their crates become bigger and bigger and bigger until their owners are feeling more comfortable with leaving them out in the house with all of their toys, with their water, with whatever else that they need to sustain while the people are at work. They definitely don't confine them from moving an inch for 8 hours a day for years. You will find no dog trainer in the history of dog trainers, as much as everybody wants to talk about, oh, e-collars are good, trainers use them. No, trainers for, again, domestic pets inside the house, not working dogs, mostly just pets, will not use a shock collar, because there's no need for it. That to me is an ego-driven, lazy way of training your dog to respond to a stimulus that isn't your voice, that isn't love, that isn't nurturing or care, just a cold button that directs them to do the thing and submit or otherwise feel pain. So yeah, I don't even know what that point is. Like, what do your dogs do when people are at work? They're trained properly so they don't have to be confined to their crate forever. And also, they're not zapped into submission to stay in their confined area. Hasan can only do that because he's there at home, 5 feet from her.
Why do we go so hard? Like the lengths that I have seen people go to try to prove this point. Do this with the Jeffrey Epstein fucking files. Like, why are we like literally like, I'm like, holy fuck. Like,
yes, us in the public, go and find out encrypted, classified government files that we can't see on a daily basis on the internet. Go and sleuth your way through those. Again, this is the same thing as arguing, well, you didn't say anything about Palestine and Israel. How could you comment on this? The fuck are you talking about? This is a completely separate issue that is widely public and pretty easy to prove when someone's lying. You know what people really don't fuck with, at least normal people? They don't really like when people lie to their face and then tell them to like it. You know, they don't really like when people are like, I don't like that. And I think the rest of the people that are calling this bullshit out are going, yeah, this guy's a sociopath who is lying, clearly. I don't like that. And the rest of the people that are seeing this are going, yeah, in our opinion, this dude is lying. And it's sociopathic the way he acts like we're the ones that are crazy, when he probably, in my opinion, allegedly, turned that dial a little too hard and a little bit too much power behind it and freaked out, didn't address it, didn't get ahead of it, didn't apologize and understand that, hey, I made a mistake, it's my fault, because he knew if he did, his community and all that moral grandstanding and all that bullshit virtue signaling that they do on a daily basis would have gotten after his ass. That couldn't happen. And then we had this individual, Caroline Kwan, who says it's not a shock collar. Not sure who this lady is, but let's take a listen.
I know it probably doesn't matter to you because you're going to believe what you want to believe and from the sources you want to believe it from. And that's why, like, doesn't matter what I or anyone else says, but it's not a shock collar. I've seen that collar. I've used that collar before. I've babysat that dog. But again, it doesn't matter.
So you've seen the collar, you've used the collar. Did the collar, she didn't answer this because no one asked her, but did the collar at the time that you used it have the duct tape on it? And if it did, why? If it didn't, why is there duct tape on it now? And if it's not a shock collar, why did the other girl that we just said, QT Cinderella, who also said that she's seen the dog and inspected the collar, said that it was a collar with prongs that had been removed and taped over? Why is it that every time we hear a new story about this, it contradicts the last story we've heard about this? Let's go all the way back. First, Hasan said it was a collar not capable of shocking, but at the same time, it had prongs for shocking. It wasn't a vibration-only collar, even though the mechanism of vibration was all that QT Cinderella could see. I hate even saying these names out loud because they're fucking sound like they're out of a Disney fanfic movie. These people, they talk in circles so that everything gets so diluted that no one understands anything. She contradicts the last girl. The last girl contradicts Hasan. Hasan contradicts himself. Who do we believe? I'll tell you what to believe. It's your eyes. They won't lie to you. These people will.
I also said too, I think it was something Hasan didn't realize in the moment that it was going to end up being a shitstorm like this. And so he when it happened and people were mentioning in chat, he just did not address it because he, as I said, didn't think this was going to be the result.
He saw, it wasn't people in chat that were just mentioning it. He saw apparently on LSF, which apparently is a live stream fail Reddit, he saw that videos were already being made about it. It wasn't just his chat. He saw that the prominent clipping mechanism of LSF, whatever that is, was making videos and that they were already going viral. I think he even said, is something going viral on LSF? So this is also wrong. He didn't address it on stream when it happened because he didn't have a story to tell yet. He waited until the next day to prepare something that sounded somewhat coherent, even though it was full of inconsistencies. And that's why none of it makes sense now.
That person really typed out XQC the debunker. Yeah. I mean, I also, like, I have texts between myself and Boy who was watching Kaya after I watched Kaya, where I was like, oh, this is the collar. You don't have, she doesn't even wear it most of the time. It's when she's in the house. She has really good recall, like her training, et cetera, et cetera. But it does not matter.
What's the collar? Why not give the exact details and definitions of the collar? They just keep saying the collar. I know the collar. I've seen the collar. Give us the exact make and model of the collar. If you're going, and I'm not even trying to be that guy, but if you're going to address the situation, why not address it fully? Why does no one want to address it fully and just say, this is the make and model of the collar. Here's why it doesn't have a shocking mechanism. Here's why it's vibrate only. Here's why he didn't shock his dog. It would be completely over. She says, oh, well, if you want to believe the information you've got from sources, you right now are a source. And if you will clearly and unequivocally just say what the collar is, hell, buy one and show it to us. Or if Hasan would do the same, he showed us the collar without telling us the device, without telling us why he taped over it, and this whole thing would go away. Why does no one do that? Is it not important enough? Is that what it is? Yeah, it's always that, right? It's always, this is not even worth it. It's not worth addressing anymore. Okay, if that's fine, if that's how you feel, but just know the people that still want answers are going to go after those answers.
It just, as I said, people just dig their heels in even more. It's frustrating.
Yeah, no, people don't dig their heels even more in if you have no way to explain anything other than the truth. You can't dig your heels into air, right? There has to be evidence. There has to be something to speak on. And it would be easy. It would be so easy if these people just brought out the actual collar from that stream, showed us the make and model number, because now it's a controversy. If you really wanted to dispel it all, you would have done it the same day. Now, I feel like there's been way too much time in between to manipulate things and go back, which is what I thought the day after when he came back with the thumb over it and not trying to show. It was too late by then. By then, it looked like you were crafting a narrative, and I think that's exactly what happened. So then we have the last bit of info here, which is pretty alarming. And again, another thing that I can't understand. This kind of stuff keeps happening. But this was posted as of about a couple hours ago. This is from a stream on May 26, 2023, where Hasan and at the time his puppy, Kaya, which is now the fully grown dog, is in a playpen with another dog. And just watch this play out. And again, tell me what other dog owner is doing this. And I'll explain what I mean when I say doing this.
I don't know if putting them in a confined space like this together is a good idea, but we're about to see very quickly. She will most likely recognize. She will very quickly learn that that's probably a mistake. Because if she keeps pushing Fiona, Fiona is going to bite. Oh, there we go. Good job, Fiona. You fucking tell her. One thing I will tell you, I've seen her. Kaya is really funny when she's scared. Being scared, but it gives me anxiety. Maybe it's me. No, I want her to bite her. What do you mean? That they had to chop it.
I want her to bite her. What do you mean? Now, what Hasan is trying to do in his infinite wisdom, you know what I think it is? I think Hasan wants to be looked at as like a perfect being. No joke. He wants to be looked at as a perfect dog trainer, have the most moral and highest morality takes when it comes to his politics, when it comes to his dealings with the online sphere, to where if you can't out-moral him, if you can't out-perfect him, then there's nothing for you to be able to criticize, or you're beneath him. And when he does stuff like this, it shows that he really doesn't have any fucking idea what he's doing trying to train this dog, and why he probably went and hired a big-time, big-wig LA trainer that just said, hey, slap this freaking dog collar, this shot collar on her, and she'll learn real quick. What he's trying to do with this dog here, I don't know who this other dog Fiona is, but he's trying to get an understanding into Kaya that she can't bite, aggravate, bug other dogs without facing some sort of repercussion. And that's normal. That's how you socialize dogs, by bringing them around other dogs. They have to learn that. You can't really teach them that as a human, but you have to. This is where the entire thing with Hasan blows up in his fucking face, because just like with his shot collar, just like with everything that you've seen around this entire whole situation, Hasan doesn't take the time, care, and nuance that it does take to actually train your dog. He takes a shortcut. This is a shortcut in terms of socializing your pet. What you don't do is confine two dogs that aren't familiar with each other clearly into an area that small, in which one, the dog that doesn't want to be bothered, can't move away and reframe and reset. And I'm not even a professional, but this is just normal shit that you don't do. And two, you don't do it while your back is turned and you can't step in and intervene and control the situation. All he's doing here is essentially putting these two dogs in a position to fight each other. That's what this is. This isn't socializing the dogs. This is putting them in there to cause an incident, to purposely have his dog learn that she can't bite, and essentially tick this other dog off, this Fiona dog, into correcting her. But that correcting is going to change into biting her and attacking her, because there's no way for the other dog Fiona to get away. And the young pup Kaya is not going to learn one or two or three times until she's actually attacked. And then it goes from socialization to abuse, because Hasan has allowed that to happen. And then it goes from socialization to the opposite of that, desocialization, where the young pup is not going to do great around other dogs. Even a little bit of correction is going to be perceived as an attack. And Kaya's a mastiff, so that dog's going to be big, and it is big. And so when she perceives it that way, she's probably going to attack. So it does the opposite of what you're trying to train. And then listen to him talk about the way he wants it to go here.
Maybe it's me. No, I want her to bite her. What do you mean? That they had to chop it? I know Fiona wants out. She's not getting out, though.
His dog, again, this is crazy. Like, his dog runs face first into this playpen after, the other dog Fiona had enough. It doesn't take a genius to realize if you put a dog that's not familiar with a puppy in a playpen, that eventually it's going to snap.
That they had to chop it.
And it's going to make the dog damn near catch its paw, and it gets stuck in the cage. And now Kaya is super fearful, which I guess he wanted. He was like, yeah, go and bite her.
I know Fiona.
It's not how you train dogs. And now, again, you're seeing this Fiona dog want out. Like, let me out of here. This is not something I want. Actually doing the more mature and responsible thing than Hasan is. That dog Fiona knows she's going to attack this dog Kaya, and is like, I need to get out of here because this dog is freaking me out. I don't want to be around her. The more you keep me in here, the more aggressive I'm going to get.
Fiona wants out. She's not getting out, though. Fiona snaps at her. She'll just go, ah, 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 and like run away. Run away like a fucking goofball crying. It's the funniest thing on the fucking planet. Oh, Fiona, stay.
In a normal setting, when they're not confined like this, that's a normal thing. Like, pups will learn by continuing to press their luck until an older dog checks them. That's something that happens in socialization. It does. And over time, that gets better. But you're not allowing that process to happen because they're confined to like 2 feet. So she can't even get away from her. And then reset and do again in a controlled atmosphere. All it is let's put these two dogs in, and whatever happens, happens. That's bullshit.
The wind, children.
Did you see that? I want you guys to see what happens when she actually gets scared. It's so fucking funny.
How is he this stupid? Real question. How is he this dumb to have filmed this, showed it to his chat, and be proud of it? What an absolute fucking moron. Did he not think that, this is a guy that lives on the internet. This is his job. And trust me, my job is the internet too, but like, you live stream daily. You didn't think someone's going to archive this for potential use against you? No, he doesn't think that, because he thinks this is what dog training is. He thinks this is a perfectly natural way of doing it. For example, my puppy, Rocky, I just took him to meet his Uncle Bo, which is my mom's dog, this weekend. You know what we didn't do? We didn't let Bo, who is a 110-pound lab shepherd off his leash to just do as he pleased with this poor little puppy. Bo is well trained, so he didn't get aggressive with the dog. And Rocky is a puppy, so yeah, he was a bit aggravating. Yes, he let out his barks, his howls, and he wanted to poke the bear a little bit. And yes, at points, Bo had to correct him. But when it was correction time, Rocky was able to separate, and so was Bo, because he was in a garage, not a 2-foot playpen where you continue to force the issue like Hasan did. Now, I show you that clip to hit you with the finale here, which is the culmination of what bad training does to a dog. Now, again, accidents happen. And if this was a one specific clip of Hasan and his dog, and I hadn't seen anything else, and I hadn't gone down this entire rabbit hole to see just the layers of bullshit and laziness stacking up over and over, and no responsibility and no self-analyzation of the way he treats this dog, I would look at this and go, you know what? This is a minor issue where two dogs got into it for like half a second. But seeing what I've just seen, seeing what I've seen throughout the entire week this week, this proves exactly what I think and what a lot of people think about the way Hasan has trained his dog and how his dog reacts to stimulus, to situations where they shouldn't be reacting that way, socializing with other dogs. Take a look. Is that Valkyrie girl that act like the, what did she say? You know, I've been around the dog and it's a perfect angel and all of this. Isn't that QT Cinderella girl as well?
It's my chicken.
Nobody gets it now.
Okay, now I really want it sought after.
Oh, and then we'll just let the dog walk right back over and engage in the practice again?
Put it on the counter.
Yeah, we're gonna put this.
I knew that.
Ooh, did anyone see that? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't see any dogs glowing green out of their necks for any other reason than potentially having an electronic collar on. Yeah. Not that she's been shocked in that moment, but she's been wearing that shock collar for a very long time. And as the video starts, not to assign blame, but this looks like a very big dog attacking another dog who's also attacking it, and there's no teachable moment, there's no friendly play. That's a full-on attack. Look at these people's faces. Is that the head of Twitch?
It's my chicken.
Nobody gets it now.
Is that old dude the head of Twitch sitting there watching that shit? When you got friends in high places, ladies and gentlemen.
Sought after.
I knew the chicken was gonna be a problem. I was telling Cutie.
Jimmy, very good.
And they immediately blame this dog, which I think is hilarious. All right, so I was just going to finish the video up there, but as this weird, unnecessary story keeps rolling on, Hasan Piker and the dog shock syndrome, there's been more updates. Let's take a look. Hasan is now claiming the dog Kaya didn't even have the same collar on as the one he showed on stream the day she was, in my opinion, shocked. What he's telling the public, not shocked. He's saying now that wasn't even the same collar as the one he showed a day later. I have so many questions as to how brain dead you have to be to say that. But let's take a look and get the context.
But the third group of people are the ones who are like, look at this clip, look at that clip, look at this clip. Like, it's obvious he's moving his arms around. Like, he's fucking constantly in a state of zapping. And
well, the whole arms moving around thing, just so we're clear, if you guys go back to my first video, I showed there was a shock collar remote or an e-collar remote, which people are trying to delineate between shock collars and e-collars now. Let's be clear. There are more deadly and high voltage shock collars out there, sure, but e-collars do send, Hasan will call it a TENS type of unit. It is an electrical stimulation which will shock your dog if turned up too high, which again, I will maintain is what I think happened. I think he had the remote turned up way too high for whatever reason, hit the button that normally would be a low impulse or whatever to redirect his dog to stay in place, which I think is stupid and the opposite of training your dog in the first place, to have them on a mat or on a bed for 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 hours without moving, especially a Mastiff who is, you know, a work dog, a dog that needs to be moving around, have commands, do things. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think he should have a dog if that's how he wants to train and raise his dog, to do the opposite of what they're supposed to do. That's the wrong environment for that kind of dog, and it's the wrong way to train that kind of. And all the other stuff that we've shown that has just been the opposite of how you want to train a dog. He's just a bad dog trainer, just really bad, and a lazy one at that. I think that, again, he hit it when it was turned up way too high, and it gave the dog an unneeded, unwarranted, way too high voltage shock. That's what I think happened.
They've moved away from the initial conversation, which was that, like, she didn't even have that collar on to begin with. Kaya, please.
Yeah, so this is, I don't understand this. The initial conversation, which they're going to try to demonstrate here, isn't the case. The initial conversation wasn't that Kaya didn't have the collar on to begin with. The initial conversation was your dog responded to some sort of stimulus that was foreign, and it yelped, and it immediately got back into whatever place it was supposed to be as you looked down and reached to your left for something, and as soon as you reached for something, she responded, yelped, and got back into her place. That is what the initial conversation was. I didn't hear anyone talking about, oh, did she have a collar on or didn't she? That wasn't the case. We all immediately went, did he just shock his dog?
Even have that collar on to begin with. Kaya, please.
Look at where he's looking. Immediately, eyes fixed this way. If you're trying to correct your dog and tell them to get back in their place, why are you looking away from them this way when they are behind you? Wouldn't you turn to them this way and place, whatever, and they go to their place? You don't turn directly away from them and then reach out for something to aid you in getting her back to her place.
And go, just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? And the only reason why I showed the collar was because people were clipping other instances. First of all, are any of the collars illegal? No. Even in the Mac.
That's not why. I mean, that might be why he's saying he's showing the collar, but I'm pretty sure when he showed the collar the first time, it was to respond to someone in his chat that said, show the collar.
Yeah, man, you explain things well and shit, but show the collar though, dude.
So yeah, he goes to get the collar because someone in his chat said, show the collar. So yeah, it wasn't in response, at least not in that moment. I didn't see him say, you know what, I'm going to show this collar because I've seen memes all over the place about them saying that she was wearing a shot collar. Well, sorry guys, actually she wasn't yesterday, and here's the one you guys are referring to, even though that's not even the right one she wore yesterday. Like, he didn't even address it. He didn't say, hey, I'm going to show you a collar that you may think is a shot collar, but that's not the one that she's been wearing, and that doesn't even have the capability of shot. He didn't say any of that. He just went, here's the shot collar, and this is what he said when he showed it.
This is the one that people are talking about. Okay, this is the one. This is the one that they saw. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it.
Again, in its current form, after you've cut the prongs off of it, probably. But where in that statement, or the previous statement, where he was getting the collar off of her, did he say, this is the e-collar I do have, but it's not the one she was wearing yesterday? He specifically right there says, this is the collar people are talking about. Why would you say that, meaning the collar that she wore before the incident? Why? I don't understand how that even makes any sense. This is another lie that he's told you, and I'm just baffled to go, like, how many more times is this guy gonna lie?
Maximalist position, even if what like the people that are claiming are just like a significant threat or whatever, like I've said this already, e-collars that have shocking components that feel like a TENS machine, which I've used on myself in the past because, you know, I'm around dogs that have been trained with that and use it, is not only is it not illegal, but it's also straight up used in the e-fencing for people, and it's used in the training of like dogs in general.
No, it is. It can be used in specific walks of dog training, like dogs that have been, again, abused and have a very aggressive and reactive defensive mindset. Anybody even reaches to touch them, they're going to get bit. That kind of thing. Dogs that have no control, have no sense of rules or boundaries. Dogs that, again, are used for hunting, are used as canine units, are used as specific types of training dogs, but there is, in my opinion, no need for an e-collar on his type of dog. And by the way, he keeps saying it feels like a TENS unit, feels like a TENS unit, and he says he's used it on himself. I would implore Hasan to take an e-collar and crank that thing up and stick it on his neck and see then if he feels like it's a TENS unit. I've used TENS units and cranked TENS units, even the little pads that you could put on your arms, because a TENS unit and an electrical muscle stimulant, those are two different things. Either way, you turn those things up to a level that's past what you can handle, what's past what you're used to using, and it will absolutely hurt, let alone, doing it on your neck. I'm talking in general. So I don't know what the downplaying is there about like, oh, it's a TENS unit. It's used like a TENS unit. A TENS unit can fucking hurt. Crank that up all the way and then tell me that feels good. I don't think so. So anyway, that was Hasan's recent, in my opinion, fabrication of reality. Again, I don't know how we're supposed to not believe our own eyes when we look at these things. But then, I guess wannabe journalist here, Taylor Lorenz. I don't know anything about this lady, but she has come out to the defense of Hasan. I don't know anything about this lady other than she seems to be a part of the Hasan Defense Brigade. And she's come out and said this about the collar and the entire situation.
Twitch streamer Hasan Piker abused his dog using a shock collar during a Twitch live stream. There is, to be clear, zero evidence that his dog Kaya was even wearing a shock collar during that live stream. Kaya is pictured wearing a canvas collar with a little AirTag holder in it in the original clip, where she yelped once after seemingly catching her nail on the dog bed.
We've completely debunked this. She yelps before her paw even gets to the level of catching it on the dog bed. Like her foot is damn near still on the ground, and she yelps and yanks it up. That isn't her catching her nail on the dog bed. And this is what I think is hilarious, is that this Taylor Lorenz lady says there's no factual evidence for the dog wearing a shock collar or being shocked, yet immediately confirms as factual evidence that the dog caught its dew nail on a bed in the way that would be the complete opposite of how you would catch a dew nail on a bed.
Or with a little AirTag holder in it in the original clip, where she yelped once after seemingly
catching her dew claw. Let's see. So she hasn't even gotten her foot or her dew claw to the point where it could be caught on the bed. She's already yelping. Look at
her.
What are you talking about? There's no way.
Nail on the dog bed. After Hasan revealed the vibration collar on stream, bad actors attempted
That's not a vibration collar.
to leverage the fact that he put a small piece of tape on the back to conceal his phone number, which is like written in Sharpie on the back of the little vibration box, as evidence that he somehow secretly modified and soldered down shock collar prongs. Something
What? What is she talking about? Oh my God. This is supposed to be a journalist? This lady's a journalist. I want you guys to hear that again, to hear how stupid and how completely wrong this is.
After Hasan revealed the vibration collar on stream, bad actors attempted to leverage the fact that he put a small piece of tape on the back to conceal his phone number, which is like written in Sharpie on the back of the little vibration box.
First off, let's just stop there for a second. She says that Hasan put electrical tape on the back of this vibration collar to conceal his phone number. Why in God's name would you write your phone number on a shock collar, on an e-collar on the back of it, and then cover it with tape on the side that is pressed to your dog's neck? Where would he write his phone number on this? In black Sharpie? You have to be an idiot to think this lady knows what she's talking about, or that she's not just running defense. What is that? You're gonna write your phone number in Sharpie on that? That's the collar, by the way. That's the exact replica model of the collar he showed. And then just to show you how much that Taylor Lorenz doesn't know what she's talking about, or maybe that she watched a video and then got some talking points from it and then tried to spit it out as actual knowledge and let me do journalism, she says this.
Evidence that he somehow secretly modified and soldered down shock collar prongs. Something that would basically be like impossible to do. Like impossible.
Like Taylor Lorenz doesn't even know what the word solder means. You don't solder down. If you were trying to remove a piece of metal from another piece of metal, you're not soldering it. Soldering would be combining two things, like wires to a circuit board, or it's almost like a process of welding that's combining things. Soldering is not removing things. It's not cutting and taking away. Who told her that's what that word meant? This is what I'm saying, is like they get on here and they act like experts. Like, let me tell you the real story from a real journalist. And they don't even do the research to understand the words they're using. Who is this lady? And how does she get away with talking like this and people think it's real? Not only does what she said make no sense, that he taped over it so he could hide his phone number, which he would write where. But then to try to add a little expert analysis to it, she says the word, well, he must have modified and soldered it down. He did modify it, clearly, but he didn't solder it down. He probably took a pair of pliers, like we're about to see someone else do, and cut the prongs off. Now, Taylor Lorenz said it was basically impossible to modify this e-collar to get the prongs off it, to clip the prongs, to, as she said, solder the prongs off. Oddly enough, if you wanted to clip the prongs and then put them back on, you could solder them back on. But she says it's basically impossible to do. Here's some guy named Dan Saltman. It's a weird name, but here's Dan Saltman saying he's gonna show how you could do it.
You can see I'm holding it right there. Now, what do you think the odds are that I have enough grip strength to do this? With one hand. One hand. They're basically impossible to do. What do you think?
I'm going to give you 20%. With one hand?
20%.
20%.
One hand. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Damn.
What happened?
It's done.
Are you fucking shitting me, Taylor
Look,
Lorenz?
it turns out
So, yeah.
you can get rid of that thing in nothing. Just a couple of clippers. No issue.
You can absolutely take the prongs off of a e-collar and then tape over it to make it look exactly like the vibration collar counterpart that you could have gotten in the first place anyway. This is another thing that makes no sense to any of this entire backstory, is that we are supposed to believe that Hasan bought an e-collar instead of a regular vibration collar that has no capacity. They make the collars. The same company, I'm pretty sure, makes the collars. That has no capacity to actually deliver an electrical shock. Instead, he bought the one that does have the capacity for it, but as soon as he bought it, he clipped the prongs off of it, wrote his phone number on the back of it, and taped over that in just the almost exact manner that would replicate what the prongless collar, the vibration-only collar, would look like. And that's how he's had it since he bought the collar. Not that he shocked his dog. We saw the reaction. He took a day where he was off stream to formulate a plan, a backstory, to try to cover up what he did, and he knew he had to have an answer in a day, so he probably couldn't Amazon Prime a vibration shock collar. He goes, finds a pair of pliers, cuts the prongs off, tapes over it exactly the way the vibration one looks, puts his thumb over it so you can kind of see, kind of not, and hope for the best. The reality is, in my opinion, that's what happened. But we're having actual journalists, supposedly, comment on this and act as though what we're seeing is completely delusional. We also have this clip. Here's Dan Saltman again. I don't know if this guy has a grievance with Hasan or what, but he's gone into the pretty decent depth here. He has essentially recreated exactly what we saw on stream. A cut-off, pronged e-collar with a piece of tape over it. That looks a lot more like the thing Hasan was holding that now he's trying to convince us wasn't the collar that his dog was even wearing, but he was going to show us that collar as proof, than the actual vibration collar that he supposedly said the dog had on in the clip we watched. You see how diluted these things are and how much your lies can catch up to you if you continue to peddle them and cover a lie with a lie? It never goes well. And this is where we're going to end, because I think,
anyone? This is definitely not a shocking collar. Definitely not hockey taped up or anything. I don't know. It kind of looks familiar. It has the capacity to flashlight and to vibrate. That's it.
It's the exact same collar, dude. It's the exact same collar.
So this is the device, as you guys know, right? Looks everything the same. And look at this. Even though that there's no post on here anymore, like lift that up. You see? No post. Impossible to do. Can't see it. Oh my God. Look at this. You can still attach it. And it's on there good. And it still zaps. Wow.
So, again, none of this makes any sense. I'm going to wrap this up after watching this, but this, I don't know if this Dan Saltman is on a mission. He bought the collar. He showed how you could take the prongs off. Now, apparently, he used it on himself, which I wouldn't, again, I don't encourage anyone to ever use a shock collar for any reason. Not on your dog, not on you, nobody should be doing this, but he's doing it in the name of science, I guess. So let's take a look and see what happens.
Ready?
All right, fuck it. Yeah.
Place.
No. Now,
I can't know how much that actually hurt him or if he's putting on or whatever. But, again, you could see the possibility and the reality of what happens if you were to crank that e-collar, shock collar. I'm using them interchangeably because that's what they are. If they have the capacity to shock, which the collar that Hasan showed and said was the one that everyone saw, now he's trying to say the one that no one saw, but it was used in the past, and he was bringing it on to use because he had seen it in other clips. I don't know what that explanation was, but that had the capacity to shock. Even if he cut the prongs off, even if he put electrical tape over it, even if he's trying to hide his phone number, which is impossible to write on that little thing with a black Sharpie and have anyone be able to actually read. You can see that it does have the capability of causing decent amounts of pain, and that's the point. Again, what I think happened for the billionth time is that Hasan made a mistake. One, he shouldn't have been using an e-collar. I don't understand them. I don't understand for his capacity what he likes to do, why he would do that. If he wanted to use a vibration collar, there's ways to go about buying a vibration collar from that same company, specifically a vibration collar, not an e-collar, aka a shock collar. They're interchangeable. They do the same things. Yes, e-collars have more than just a shocking mechanism, but they also have that. And if you didn't ever want to have any issues with being associated with a shock collar, using a shock collar, you buy the vibration only collar they make them. Hasan didn't have that. Not the one he showed us. I think he was frustrated for whatever reason because his dog moved, which is very stupid, but I have no idea what goes on in the daily life or mind of Hasan Piker, pencil neck Piker, pea-head Piker. But he shocked the dog. It was turned up way too high. He probably didn't know it was turned up way too high. I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt there. And the only reason I say that is because he turned around kind of quickly to be like, what the hell are you doing? And at that point, probably knew, oh shit, it was a little too high, but I can't tell my community because his community, the most virtuous and moral grandstanding of them all in this psychotic, radicalized internet we currently exist on, would not have that. They would abandon him in droves because that is the way and he has carved out his community. Most virtuous, most morally perfect person in his own mind on the platform. And you better be, because if not, they'll call you out, they'll shame you. If you're not the absolute picture-perfect person, then you are a monster. You are all the hateful things they'll call you. And that's the community he's cultivated. A bunch of fucking lunatics, and they would have turned on it. So instead, there's been a lot of excuse making, there's been a lot of story changing, and the orbiters, the people around him, have had to come to his defense or at least stay quiet about it because they can't cross him. He holds all the power, and this is where we've gotten to. Had he come out and went, you know what, I really messed up, guys, I'm so sorry. I think if he would have done that, even his community would have been like, you know what, mistakes were made, maybe don't use the shock collar anymore. Maybe go away from the e-collar. But I don't know if he just didn't have the nuts to do it, was too much of a coward to do it. Instead, he's cultivated this ridiculous story that keeps folding in on itself, and eventually he'll probably end up getting away with it. And at the end of the day, it's not my life. It's not my dog. I've said my piece on it. I think he really made a big mistake here. But the more glaring part of this, yes, obviously it's the use of an e-collar and the situation he's in regardless, but it's the willingness to lie about it and continue lying about it. And his community and people continue to eat it up, and him just act like it's no big deal. I said this in my last video. If he's willing to lie about something like this, what else is a guy like that willing to lie about? What does that tell you about someone's character? When they assumedly think so little of you and the way you think and your critical thinking skills that they'll just say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and expect you to believe it, expect you to accept it. And if you don't, you're all the hateful things that they called you anyway, all because you didn't agree or you offered some criticism. That's what I think. This is the update on the Hasan Piker situation. What do you guys think? Am I completely wrong here, or is this thing just not adding up? None of it makes any sense. And again, I think it keeps getting worse because Hasan just keeps lying. Just stop. But again, maybe he can't at this point. It's gotten too out of control. What happens next? Don't have those answers, but guess we'll find out.